Donald Trump tapped into a massive well of economic discontent to get elected. Exit polls after the election showed roughly 2/3 of voters thought the economy was not so good or poor. High prices were one pain point for voters in the 2024 election. Understandably, consumer prices have increased more than 20% since the COVID-19 pandemic began. Trump attributed this trend to the Biden administration and an influx of new immigrants. But can't Trump use his presidential power to really lower prices and lessen inflation? Let's take a look. The president only has a limited ability to control prices or the inflation rate. And some of Trump's proposed policies may actually cause living expenses and other costs to rise. First, let's take a look at inflation. The primary tool for moderating inflation is the monetary policy set by the Federal Reserve. The Fed has recently started lowering interest rates, but if costs started to rise, the Fed could reverse course and instead hold interest rates steady or even increase them to hold inflation in check. The president gets to choose the Fed chair, and Trump appointed the current chairman, Jerome Powell, in his first term. He has since been critical of Powell and argued presidents should be able to influence the Fed. But historically, the Fed makes its decisions independently. Trump has also promised to lower mortgage rates, but that's not something presidents can control. A higher interest rate from the Fed translated to higher mortgage rates over the last couple of years. As the Fed recently started cutting interest rates, mortgage rates declined in tandem. Now let's take a look at some of Trump's policies that, according to some experts, may actually lead to higher costs. Trump has said he would carry out a mass deportation of millions of undocumented immigrants. He has framed the deportations as critical to national security. Since 2021, around 10 million migrants have come into the United States, according to Congressional Budget Office estimates, only 1/3 of them legally. Even before, there were about 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States as of 2022, according to the Department of Homeland Security. While Trump's deportation plans would likely face opposition, the president has the ability to restrict many of the pathways immigrants have used to enter the country in recent years. Many immigrants joined the labor force, and immigration has been a key source of job growth in recent years. Trump's plan would most likely slow that growth. Some economists say a mass deportation could decrease the number of workers available for construction jobs and worsen an existing labor shortage in industries like agriculture and childcare, which could cause prices to rise on housing, groceries, and daycare. Foreign-born workers without a college degree also work in large numbers as drivers, cleaners, cooks, manual laborers, cashiers, groundskeeping workers, and personal care aides. And losing these workers can mean increased wages and prices in the industries that hire them in large numbers. Trump has pledged to extend the tax cuts he put in place in 2017 during his first presidential term, which are set to expire, and to potentially enact some new tax cuts. If he does, this would increase the already very high budget deficit, which means that the money going out exceeds the money coming in. Some of the loss could be offset by cost cutting or tariffs. It's hard to know how much, but the threat of a growing deficit has already worried investors enough that it has caused Treasury bond yields to climb and bond prices to fall. Trump has said he would add tariffs of as much as 25% on goods from Canada and Mexico, and an additional 10% on goods from China, which could also drive up prices. Trump has said the tariffs will raise government revenue, incentivize companies to do more manufacturing in the US, and strengthen the US position in global trade. But many experts say the tariffs would likely raise prices because companies would pass on their higher costs to consumers. According to one recent report, the average price of a laptop could increase by more than $350 and a video game console by $246. Another report said the price of a new refrigerator could rise by $100 and a winter coat more than $20. The prices of new cars and car repairs could also rise. The bottom line is that some of the policies Trump proposed during and after his campaign may have unintended consequences for the economy. he also may run up against limitations to his presidential power. For now, Americans can wait and see, or try to strategize investments or purchases before he makes his next moves. And if you want more content like this from MarketWatch and the Explainomics playlist, please subscribe and keep checking back for new videos, and we'll see you next time.